one of the first people I ever met when I moved to Chicago in the summer of 1990. Honestly, that person changed my life personally. This brother inspired me to be selfless in community service, and that we are never above any task. I once saw this brother do something that nobody else could imagine to be done. We're talking about Dr. Amine, who is the founder of Universal School. In one of the first days of the school's opening, we had a major plumbing problem, and we all stood around wondering what to do. And believe it or not, our brother, Dr. Amine, neurosurgeon, put his hand into the toilet and pulled out a Coke can that some child had flushed and solved the problem. We didn't have to break the tiles open and fix the problem. No task is above any of us, and community service is certainly selfless. So we would like to welcome you to watch the video presentation for our dear brother, Dr. Amine.
And we made them leaders, guiding by our command. And we inspired to them the doing of good deeds, establishment of prayer, and giving of zakah. And they were worshippers of us. Visionary leaders come no more than a generation at a time, and today we are honoring such a leader. A visionary is good with words, and a visionary leader is good with words and deeds. A generation ago, our dearly beloved brother set on a new dawn to establish what at that time was considered unattainable, an Islamic school based on the highest standards of achievement. His insight and boldness, with his imagination, was able to bring the best people around him to achieve a model school for Illinoisans and Americans as well as Muslims from across the globe. A man of change, Dr. Amine and his innovative idea was and continues to be an inspiration for those around him. He led with his faith, his core values, and his innovation, which can be recognized in the graduates of the renowned Universal School. Please welcome Dr. Abdel Amine.
Takbir!
Allahu Akbar.
Takbir!
Allahu Akbar.
Takbir!
Allahu Akbar. Visionary Leadership Award presented to Dr. Abdel Amine for his visionary leadership and valuable contributions to the Muslim community, April 2012.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. I'm honored and humbled to receive this, but I receive it on behalf of all of you here. Everyone have contributed to the work. When I started my public work, I was telling my children actually recently that I started my public work when I was in the 10th grade. I just told them a story. I remember that we wanted to disseminate a little booklet of how to pray to villager in Syria, in my town, in my villages. And we went around to print a little booklet about a hand size like this. We wrote it ourselves, about maybe 10 of us. Each one wrote a chapter. And we went to print it in order to distribute to the villager. And I took the task upon myself to raise the fund. So I've been raising funds since I was in the 10th grade. This is probably about 39 years ago. And we raised the fund, alhamdulillah. And we printed the book. We printed out 1,000 copies. This is a community work. And this is what I believe in. This is what Mass is for. Mass is not only for the children who stood in front of you here recite the Quran. Mass is not only to memorize Quran and put a building and you're going to pay fund for it, inshallah, in the next hour or so to complete it. Mass is not only as a prestige. Mass is to serve the community. And I'm honored to be in the service of this community, particularly in Chicago, for the past 35 years, alhamdulillah. So I'm honored to be part of you, and the credit goes to everyone who participated. I remember when we dug the first shovel to build the Mass Foundation in Bridgeview, where we were praying in a restaurant and in a club. We covered the bar, we covered the beer and the liquor wall and the cabinet in order to do our prayer. And then we moved on to serve the children. When I had my small children, I said that Sunday school inside the school will never be enough. Then the credit goes to everybody who work in the leadership of the school, the leadership of the masjid, and leadership in the community, a member of many Muslim organizations. Alhamdulillah, I contributed a lot, but mainly here in Chicago. And I told my wife I will never move away from the larger community. I want my children to be raised in a large community. I don't want them to be in a small community. I don't want the money. I don't want the big money you make in a smaller town, in a smaller community. I want my children and grandchildren. And I'm proud to say, in every group stood in front of you who recite the Quran, there was one of them, one of my grandchildren, alhamdulillah. And I work with the principle that you depend on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I'm just going to tell you one small story. Maybe some of you heard it before. When we were to build the second phase of the school, I signed a contract to buy the land for about $130,000. And I raised the fund from various brothers here, and I was short of about $25,000, $25,400, something like this. And I told the attorney, I said, go for closing because, closing date is coming soon. He said, you have the money. I said, look, I will have the money no matter what. So I have the money minus $25,000. And I prayed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I said, you know what? If this project is for you, you will help me to finish it. So the day before the closing on that piece of land, which we put the second phase on, and we expanded school from capacity of 350 to 700 children, as you see, all of you see now. So I went to have a mailbox. Mailbox is being labeled Universal School, box number 12, Oakland, Illinois, since this was an idea. So I opened the mailbox, and here is a check for $25,000. I want to make sujood Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the post office. It came as a cashier check, deposited in the bank the second day. So the message here, if you depend on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, everything will be easy. So we all depend on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in everything, as our Prophet ﷺ taught us. I don't want to make it long, so my thanks to the Mass leadership, which I'm proud to say that I remember Mass idea was developed about 20 years back, and somewhere here in Chicago area. Some of you remember, some of you did not know those background details. So thanks to the people who supported the schools, people who supported the masjid, people who supported Mass, and we wanted to continue to support them, because that's how we're strong. That's how we will become strong, and we will make our mark on the community and the society and on the world, inshallah. My last thanks to my grandchildren, who I'm very proud of, my children, some of them here, some of them are not, and my wife, who persevere for years with me. And she always guide me and advise me and remind me with a lot of things. If I forget to make a duha prayer, she say, oh, you forget to make duha prayer. Hey, make your duha prayer, rakatain, before you leave home. Thanks to all of you. Jazakumullah khair, and wish you all success. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.